tried to do a little bit of recording of the game previously. However, I did not feel that great and I was not satisfied with my reading and how I was talking, so I decided to come back to this game another time, which is now. Alright, so there is a few things I know about the game. For one, it is a supernatural intrigue with elements of dark fantasy and romance. There is a few warnings that include depiction of death, mentions of religion, themes of murder, shapeshifters, blood, self-medicating via alcohol, poisoning, and suggested themes. I'll be putting a copy of these warnings in the description just to be safe. I know very little else about the game. I did see little bits, like I said, but nothing too deep. With that said, let's hop in and let's hope I live. Oh, there we go. Okay, a little glitchy glitch, but we're good. All right. I really love the style, honestly. It's very gothic and spooky. And I'm very excited, but also hoping I don't get too scared as I play along. Alright, let's get started. You haven't heard, the townswoman whispered, pointing her sallow hand left to where the road ends. Down to more, farther than the eye reaches, there's a cursed place. Don't wander there if you cherish your life. Now listen, if a townsperson is warning you about a place, it's either A, they're messing with you, or B, you gotta run. I'm running. But my character definitely isn't, so let's continue. A cursed place. A manor where the devil dwells. The devil, you repeated, tasting the word on your tongue like a particularly bitter treat. If your repetition came out contemptuous, it's because you had long since ceased to believe in fairy tales. There's no such thing. Then tell me this, eyes as red as blood, nails as sharp as knives, and a voice guttural like the howl of the undead. Who else could it be but the devil? I mean, there are other supernatural beings that could match this description, but okay. You had no answer, aside from a thought. There's no need for a makeshift devil, for there are enough of them already on Earth, wearing human skins as suits. Yep, every true crime story will tell you. That's true. Yep. Oh, do I have to click something? Ah, okay. Leaving behind the dinky station and the odor of burnt coal, with relief you breathe in the scent of soil and foliage, both painted scarlet with the light of the slowly rising sun. The sprawling hillside leads you through a dense carpet of heather overlain with flat rocks until you arrive at a manor, curtained from the sea by a row of dreary rowan trees. I'm not sure what rowan trees are, but if it's like this, cool. It's the first and sole building you encounter during your long trek from the town, and so you rest assured you found the correct place. On the left, there's a sizable curtilage tended by a lone man. This had me curious because they say there's a words do not feel me. They say there's a devil living in the manor, but there are people working in it. So there's already a mystery that is getting me very excited. Alright. He tilts his hat, though whatever greeting he shouts at you is incomprehensible due to the distance. You return it with a nod. It wouldn't do you any good to make enemies on your first visit. Not if you plan on staying here indefinitely. The way that the main character was written as I first read this, it seems like they're running from something. But there's also an element of where you can choose what kind of past this character has, from what I understand, and that's very interesting. So I really hope we can learn more about my character while also surviving. Okay. Behind the garden, far off in the distance, a thick forest bars the road to the nearest village. As far as the eye reaches, there's nothing but the moor. I really hope I'm pronouncing things right. Perfect. Nobody will even think to look for you in a location so desolate and obscure especially not in dilapidated manner amidst the servants. Yeah, see this paragraph here. It's like our character is running away from something. Though perhaps calling the edifice dilapidated is a disservice. The manor is old, yes, but the structure looks clean and well cared for. The grapevines climbing around the arches and colonnades, though lush, are withheld from growing wild. The bilberry bushes by the entrance, likewise, have been trimmed and groomed. The entrance itself, if far from grandiose, gives off an appearance of prosperity and style, and it appears you're not the only one thinking so. A young woman stands on a small porch. On her round face, two enormous eyes grow twice the size as they take in the marvel of the architecture. In her reverie, the stranger only notices you when you halt on the last of the three steps, placing your suitcase on the floor with a soft thud. The oh, I thought it was on a new page. Okay. Hello. Turning around so fast that for a second her silhouette becomes a blur, the woman presents you with a wide, though noticeably nervous smile. I already knocked, but I'm still waiting. It is rather early, isn't it? Not too early for the head maid to be asleep. Knock again, seeing as the woman wraps her fingers in a fist. You add, but use a door knocker. Valid, it's a big place, and I need a tea sip. I am drinking some Ahmad and not Ahmad. Ahmad is the brand, and it is Roy Boyce tea with cinnamon, oat milk, and honey. All right. Oh, right. The door knocker. They're sounding wang. This is funny for me. Wang, wang, wang has to be louder than the clatter a bare fist could make. The woman stepped back, biting her lip. It's my first time seeing a house this big. I thought there was a maid waiting by the door or a butler. I assume they don't usually. Running back, a butler, I assume they don't actually stand guard by the entrance. Besides, I doubt the family needs one given the location. The woman nods, quickly and sharply, like a chick pecking at grain. Not many visitors, or so I heard from my mamma. And the rumors, too. About the devil, you ask with a scoff? Or do the travelers have a legitimate reason for avoiding the only mansion in the area that could host them with some semblance of comfort? Sir, you're of the same mind. Smiling this time in a more relaxed manner, the woman clutched at the pouch she's holding in one hand. The material is worn like her faded dress, more beige than white, securing her major possessions. I said this when I first recorded this. It feels like this poor girl's gonna be a victim, and I am bracing myself for that. The fabric is embroidered so deftly that initially you mistake it for a painting of a pink rose in full bloom. Next to the flower, you notice five far less skillful attempts in various stages of completion. If you don't, oh, I thought it was a new page. I keep on mistaking the new page. You don't know about the Malars, do you? The owners of the Opaline Manor. I always pronounce that word wrong for some reason. The woman asks, slapping a hand over her lips immediately after. Ah, I'm sorry if I offended you. It's just that you don't look local. I've arrived recently. I'm afraid my knowledge is limited. Makes sense why you're here. Only the foolish or desperate seek employment. And which are you? Your response is triggered by reflex, a mix of abhorrence at being talked at and a peculiar need of having the upper hand. You don't mean much by it, but that habit is as deeply engraved in you as the ability to talk and read. It's just like the little puzzle pieces of this character is so fascinating. Latching on to the apparent weakness before you can rethink your action. Old habits die hard, as they say. Now, this right here, this paragraph, the way it reads, it feels like she, they, or he. You can choose the pronouns of your character. The character was a noble person because this feels like a thing that nobles learn. But we'll see. The woman blinks. descending her gaze upon the shoes protruding from the single layer of her modest dress. I have a big family, you see, though. Thought it's my turn to help. You've assumed that much, though this time you keep that observation to yourself. What was it about the Malar family? The lady is a minor noble, is she not? Was. She and her husband died 10 years ago, along with one of their children, the sole heir. We're gonna go for Lord Modesto, the devil of the Moor. Because, let's be real, I'm a token straight friend of my friends, and I did see the character design, and he is fine. Anyway, Lord Modesto, the devil of the Moor. Did he murder his family? Is the question. Yes, people say it was him who, ooh, slamming her mouth shut just in time for the heavy door to be opened, the woman straightens her back, her rosy cheeks blanched like a sheet when she stands face to face with the major domo. Major domo is your pronunciation, I hope? Lovely character designs. If you didn't just learn that the lady of the house is dead, you severely mistake the identity of the person who invites you inside the abode. Tall, elegant, the woman appears to be pulled straight from one of the porches that hang on each side of the long hall that she guides you through. Her dark, thinly braided hair is done up in a neat twist on top of her head. The loose coils fanning her temples are tinted with gray, contrasting deeply with her complexion. Aside from the curt welcome, the lady doesn't speak until you enter yet another identical corridor. The only difference is that this one is not empty. It is should I emphasize, it is far from overcrowded, however, hosting barely three more soon to be employees, two youngsters and an elder. Interesting. So, are they also going to be victims? Are they going to be just background characters? It's going to be very interesting. Deirdre, I hope I got that right, as the lady introduces herself, doesn't have a habit of looking a gift horse in the teasip time. I do not like stumbling over my words. I don't know if it's obvious, but I don't talk a lot. Alright. Deirdre, as the lady introduces herself, doesn't have a habit of looking a gift horse in mouth. She doesn't ask for credentials or experience, doesn't care to see a letter of commendation you've spent your last money on forging. Another interesting puzzle piece. What is going on with our character? Also, very sus that they were just like, yeah, you're hired, without any question. Instead, in a soft but authoritative tone, she lists her responsibilities and states the handsome payment. So handsome, in fact, it leaves no doubt as to why the miner isn't as heavily understaffed as the rumor would suggest. Still, many crucial positions are vacant. The interview goes smoothly until the time to sign the contract arrives. With it, like a first strike of thunder on the cloudless sky, comes the lord of the house and all his, well, I, I will not attempt to sing. I'll just read. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Barreling through another running back, barreling through an ajar door in an undeniably maudlin haze, Modesto's voice precedes him from two corridors down. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now whoops. Look at this man. Fabulous. Slurred, booming, and off key, the song grows louder, though not any clearer, as the Lord finally staggers in, wielding a crystal carafe in one hand and a glass in the other. Is it carafe or carafe? I'm sorry. Both are full of liquor, crimson colored and smelling strongly of fermented fruit and herbs. Behind him hurries a maid, picking up the discarded jacket, gloves, and miscellaneous pieces of jewelry. The Lord drops as he disrobes along the way. Someone gasps, and after chancing a closer look at the newcomer, you understand that the reaction is not caused by the impropriety of the situation. Long strawberry blonde hair, glowing sandy skin, and a drunken flush that ought to be unflattering but isn't. Then those deep brown eyes, almost mahogany in shade. But it looks red here. Interesting. I like all the details, honestly, and the way that everything is designed is so eye-catching. Okay, continuing. Yes, people can excuse anything if the offender is this beautiful. Oh, pardon me, the Lord's mouth curls in a broader grin than the one he sported when he walked in. Ladies, gentlemen, and honored guests, here's to you. Raising the glass towards the small crowd, he downs the liqueur in one gulp, finishing it off with a satisfied ah. And a second later, he pivots, disposing of the glass and the contents of his stomach both. The former lands on the ground, where it shatters to pieces. The latter finds a home in a priceless vase standing on the platform by the wall. The other's stony expression doesn't change. The maid as well seems to be more preoccupied with cleaning the shards of glass from the tiles rather than their lord's sickness. Must be Tuesday then. The lord sways on his feet, dangerously close to falling down and yet attempting to wipe his face with a handkerchief, very proper-like. This one is stronger than I thought. Indeed, with a grasp much heavier than you'd suspect of her, the edger rides Modesto and pushes him towards the flock of her new employees. Take the lord to his chambers. Luckily for you, though the lord staggers in your direction, the woman you met by the entrance shifts forward, discreetly intercepting the burden off your shoulders. She's adept at handling a drunkard. It seems as though her siblings were not the only members of her family she had to take care of back home. Oop, drama. I'll be in your care, the Lord mutters, wincing slightly at being roughhoused. Nevertheless, he lets himself be led, holding the bottle of unfinished liqueur to his chest like a toddler with a toy. None of the staff so much as breathes until the Lord disappears, and yet the tense atmosphere that accompanied you from the beginning of your audition elates significantly. Naturally, if the worst thing a Lord does is drink himself stupid, you can consider yourself fortunate. Yeah, that's kind of valid. The rest of you are dismissed, the Idri announces once the Lord is out of the earshot. Your duties start tomorrow. Rest well. It's interesting that she's holding a rosary. I wonder if there's a significance to that. With the last reminder of respecting the schedule, you follow the maid as she shows you where you'll be staying. The manor is spacious but not immense. The extra room is the result of the emptiness more than anything. Okay, I have a feeling I want to save here. So, oh, I did do a save. Haha. That is, we'll see what that will be in a moment. Okay. The advantages of an understaffed household, a separate bedroom, most likely a repurposed guest lodging. Goodness, another key sip for me then. A desk, wardrobe, comfortable bed, we checked that first, and ample space underneath the mattress to serve as a hideout for your suitcase. There are things you don't unpack as you make yourself at home. Memorabilia you ought to have discarded but couldn't bring yourself to. Yeah, I choose a violin and some jewelry. I had this little image in mind of a character being somebody musically inclined, and with the way that the former paragraphs were written, jewelry makes sense to me. Really, this character is like has a sense of former noble or runaway noble to me. So yeah, violin and some jewelry. A violin and some jewelry. Nothing that could lead to some serious consequence upon discovery. Merely a few baubles that can't be traced back to your old home. Though it might not be your favorite, the violin was the only portable instrument you could have brought along. Not that you expect to have the time or energy to hone your skills. You leave your treasures locked, veiled behind a layer of linen, and two separate outfits you took with you. Not separate, spare. Why did I read that as separate? Weird. Okay. The white shirts are plain. You chose them for that reason alone, but of superior quality. Durable too, or so you hope. The key to the suitcase you wear on a silk string around your neck. Hidden from view, the metal seeps the warmth of your skin. In the silence of your room, now made livable with your belongings laid around, you prick your ears. The walls are thick, as they ought to be in the houses where nobles reside. Running back. The walls are thick, as they ought to be in houses where nobles reside. Not all secrets can be kept, though they sure do make an attempt. Yeah, every big house definitely has their secrets. There you go. You can clearly hear the intense wind beating at the window, but the footsteps in the corridor become discernible only when they reach your room, or rather, the one in front of yours. Oh, she's blushing. I just noticed that. Interesting. Okay, it's exertion. I guess the guy was big. Okay. Opening the door ajar and peeking from behind it, you stand eye to eye with your savior. Her cheeks are flushed red from more than exertion. More than exertion, yeah. I mean, to be fair, the man was fine. How was he? He asked in a whisper. You're not as much concerned as you are curious. After all, the type of lord dictates whether a servant's life is closer to hell or paradise. For you is a determinant of whether you should stay or flee. He's not scary. She smiles, showing you a hand in which she holds a several interesting. A hand in which she holds several golden pieces, enough money to ensure her family lives comfortably for 3 months, 4 if they tighten their belts. Poor dear has passed out on the settee as soon as we enter the chambers. What is that reading? The chambers. Sleeps like a babe too, very pretty from up close, but heavy like a stone. The cont. I need a tea sip once again. It's been a while. I took a break because of the holidays and I got sick, so hopefully I don't sound too funny. Alright, the coins are more than likely a bribe. Whatever you saw, keep your trap shut. Ooh, not like she needed another incentive for her loyalty. It's comforting to learn that Modesto doesn't have a habit of leering at his staff, an occurrence that takes place far too often in this society. Then again, with his appearance, title, and wealth, it would be strange if there wasn't a queue lining up to his bedroom. No need to bother with maids, is there? My name is Rosemary, by the way, the woman says after you fail to give a response to her earlier tale. She seems to have understood you have no desire to continue that line of inquiry and acted accordingly. A smart cookie, huh? And you are? Oh, okay. I'm gonna go for a. Hmm. I'll go for a gender neutral name. What shall we call our character? We'll call them Quinn. You may call me Quinn. Quinn, what a pretty name. I'm looking forward to working with you. Looking forward to working with you. She said it so easily. And you don't remember looking forward to anything in years. Interesting. The manor isn't as shun as you were led to believe. As per custom, it hosts a variety of traveling nobles, artists, swindlers. The lord is said to occasionally host parties too, though in the 3 months of living here, you've yet to see such an occasion occur. The townspeople are a different breed, however, and so are the villagers. They'd rather cut their own heads clean off than enter the moors. When you happen to run errands, they look at you as though expecting you to morph into a demon between one blink and the other. Paranoid, the lot of them. The Lord himself is far from a devil, though you'd rather abstain from making a judgment so soon. Admittedly, the worst thing he's ever done in your presence was slap a guest across the face as a reprimand for groping one of the servants that served the table. Interesting. Hardly a misdemeanor, in your opinion. One thing is certain regarding Modesto. If there's someone who actually runs the manor, it's not him. Even the official letters he handles at times are addressed to Lady Deidre. Interesting. So Modesto is like a shadow master, or maybe Modesto just leaves the responsibilities to Deidre, forgoing Modesto altogether. And for a good reason. The Lord is not interested in such trifles, nor is he really qualified to handle it. Modesto rises late, irritable, and ill mannered, and has to be managed like a what is this word? Faberge egg right until he leaves for the city. When he returns several days later, he's cheerful and, more often than not, inebriated. He stays for longer periods only once or twice a month, sleeping off the excitements under an order of not being disturbed at all costs. Hmm. Needless to say, you don't interact often, if at all. Today, as per usual, the Lord is away, scheduled to return tomorrow. It goes without saying that Modesto isn't a punctual man. As for your duties, they are as mundane as they are monotonous. In the absence of any proper order, the staff is rotated, filling the empty spots as they appear. That often leaves you with either too much free time on your hands or barely any, contingent upon the day. That doesn't mean you're completely idle. The tin and one smooth skin on your hands is scraped raw, and the odor of vinegar has forever seeped into the fibers of your clothes. Excluding the physical labor to which you're slowly getting used to, your life in the manor could be described as slow and idyllic. Hmm, this is like building a sense of what is the word? What is the word? It's escaping my brain. But ah, right. It's luring us to a false sense of security. The way that this whole premise is building up, because there is something going on with the manor, definitely. Uninterrupted, save for one small issue. Quinn, I have news. Ardent Rosemary. Oh, Ardent, Rosemary stops you on your way towards the periphery of the forest. Like you, she's holding a basket. Unlike hers, however, yours is yet to be filled with brushwood. They found another body. Another body? How many bodies have there been on the moor? Okay, drowned or hanged? What the heck? Neither. She sounds rather excited for a self-made harbinger of doom, as though she's recalling a tale from one of her books rather than a real murder that just took place. Mauled. How many bodies has there been? And girl, this one is building up to be a victim more and more. Gosh darn. Ah, something new then. Who was it this time? One of ours? Lord S. something or other. At your cocked eyebrow, Rosemary adds, the man who used to play cards with our Lord every Sunday. They had a dispute last week and he left in a hurry. Now you remember. The argument was heated, though far from extraordinary, and the guest stormed off in the middle of the night, drunk and cussing like a sailor. He assumed it was a petty squabble, but learned later that the fellow tried to trick Modesto into buying a non-profitable mine. Huh. Have all the bodies been people that crossed the Lord? Because if so, that is, the devil rumors may hold true. Shame, Lord Malar will be inconsolable. And an inconsolable Modesto is a fickle Modesto who knows what he will think of doing without a playmate to amuse him. Ooh, I worry they'll accuse our Lord of it too. They being the townspeople, naturally. Each dead body on the moor is added to Modesto's count. Privately, you find it amusing. The man can even fence, not to mention hold a ep- epi? Epee? Okay? You pay to see him make a fool of himself in a duel. Until they have proof, all they could do is talk, and talk they do. Not that Modesto pays any mind to the rabble. Rightly so. It's best to ignore the libel for all it's worth. I hope you're right. Unless our Lord grows a pair of fangs. Why does this feel like foreshadowing? Gosh, okay. Unless our Lord grows a pair of fangs and starts to delight in the taste of flesh, I'd say he's above all suspicion. Yep, that sounds like tea sip time. I suppose that's true. Rosemary laughs, a short jittery outburst. Though God knows I wouldn't mind if he were to delight in the taste of my Rosemary! But also, ooh, this is another strike to her being a potential victim. And off you go, you sigh. I should join you shortly. One of these days, your eyeballs are going to fall out from all the rolling. If it's not Rosemary, then it's the page. If not the page, then the cook. Truly, even with the Lord absent, you can't catch a break in this house. Right, I'll save some seed cake. With that promise, Rosemary, okay. Rosemary runs off in the direction of the manor, opposite to where you go. Why is the music changing? Resuming your mind numbing chore. Why is the music changing? Oh, why is the music changing? Help? No, why? What's going on? Nope, nope. I'm paying attention to the text. I'm covering my vision for the rest of the screen. There are parts of the forest you don't venture into, three-fourths of it, as it stands, where it's easy to find death in one's if one seeks it earnest. Oh, where it's that line where it's easy to find death if one seeks it earnestly enough. If that isn't ominous, I don't know what is. Oh boy. The last maid who sneaked off on a secret rendezvous didn't live to meet her fiancé, a merchant who turned out to be a spy, both drowned in a bog. Most unfortunate accident. Accident or murder? The one before that was found hanged, with the Lord's valuables spilling from her pockets. It's hard to explain that one rationally as a bandit would have taken the treasure with them. Yeah, it sounds like every person that crossed the manor or the Lord is off. So the devil rumors is finding some ground. All in all, the moor is a dangerous place, though not any more than a town that is lovingly called the Thieves' Den. How much drama does this place have? Gracious! You're not afraid per se, but each month it's harder to keep the apprehension at bay. Who's to say you won't be the next to meet your aunt? That is a valid fear. Still, as not to court death, you stick to the brink of the forest. Smart? To brighten your day, you stuff yourself full of wild berries, staining your lips and fingertips red. The mischievous side of you knows that the manor is not at liberty to send you off, no matter how indolent? Okay, indolent you may act. Nonetheless, you do have some sense of propriety and discipline, thus you don't dilly-dally long. Wiping your crimson-stained fingers in the material of your apron, you wrap up your work as quickly as you can. The music is just making me so apprehensive. Offhandedly, you cut a few stalks of violet bell heather that's just above the blossom. Running back, offhandedly, you cut a few stalks of violet bell heather that just about blossomed. And if memory serves, back home it was custom to arrange vases with flowers in central points. The bouquets were used for decoration all year long, fresh in season, then taken from the orangery, during the colder months. You assume the servants here partake in the same tradition. With your basket full and topped off with a posy, you decide to try a new shortcut. Girl, no. Friend, no. Whatever gender. Why would you try that? No. Oh, this is not gonna end well. Okay. Um, Past the dense trees and slightly off the main itinerary. Oh, no. Why? You only get to cross it partially before you are forced to halt. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. Just covering half the screen for my sake. Forced because your legs refuse to carry you further. Your body, every muscle of it, pauses in fright at the scene. Okay, not too bad. I mean, hi. Very lovely creation. What am I saying? Very lovely painting of a wolf. That's lovely. Anyway, not as grim as I thought it would be. Okay, an, an enormous canine of a sandy colored mane, made darker by the deep shadows, takes up most of the path. Its hind paw is stained with blood, caught in what looks like to be a bear trap. The animal doesn't whine. On the contrary, its teeth are bared in a vicious snarl, and the growl gets louder and more pitched once the canine senses your presence. Oh boy! Oh boy! Okay, I'm gonna go save. Yes, because I have a feeling there's a very significant occurrence if I make either choice. Hopefully, to help survive, I'm gonna save the wolf. You don't have much knowledge about animal tending, but you do know how to work open a simple trap. The question is, will the canine attack you or will it recognize a savior? Either way, the animal looks weakened. If the worst comes to pass, you shouldn't have any trouble outrunning it. That is fair also. If there is an animal in a story that explicitly says has supernatural intrigue, I am saving the animal, okay? I'm not risking angering anything. When you come closer, also, if I recall, there is a warning of shape shifting. So, once again, I do not want to die. I think it's smart to save the wolf. Going back, moving on. When you come closer, surprisingly, the growling ceases, instantaneously clearing out your doubts. You'd be lying if you said the creature looks inviting, but its expression is clever. Oh, I was right to save him, for lack of better words, as if the animal, though not domesticated, is accustomed to human presence. Here, I'll help you, you mutter, laying down the basket, feeling slightly foolish. Of course, the canine lacks adhesive. Of course, the canine lacks the skill to understand human speech, but you hope that the calmness of your voice will soothe it, or at the very least, prevent it from chewing and spitting you out. It's not a reflex, helping the weak, but it's far from a well thought action on your part. Maybe it's the sight of blood already brown and drying on the hound's mane, or the pity that broils in you the longer you look at it. In hindsight, you don't think it's true. You just compress the lever, prying open the trap. The canine jumps back, and in a blink of the eye, it sprints down the forest without even a backwards glance. Talk about gratitude, huh? Only when you pick up your basket, making your way back, do you realize freeing the beast might have not been the smartest idea, considering I mean, that is true, but I did not want to risk it. I'm not risking it. Nope. The mauled bodies that show up around these parts. Naturally, you don't think an animal could have hanged someone, but maul? It might be best to keep the incident to yourself, lest you'll get accused of being the beast's accomplice. Okay, the music calmed down. Alright. Once you get a hold on your madly beating heart, you vow to never speak about your meeting with the canine. Aside from warning your fellow servants of a wild fox foaming at the mouth. Perhaps you can ensure you have company next time you're sent to gather kindling, or send someone in your stead. For now, you bring the basket inside, adding the kindling to the growing pile, then idly admiring a job well done. You're not much of a florist, but it doesn't take any aptitude to place flowers in a vase and pour water therein. Belle Heather is far from an exotic beauty, and it lacks the classic elegance of a rose, but the brightness of the interior just the same. It makes you wistful, a feeling you quickly dismiss. With nothing else to do before dinner, and the unease still lurking in the deepest parts of your brain, you aimlessly walk around the hallways looking for something that needs to be done. Before long, you return to the starting point as short of work as you were when you set off. This time, you're not alone. Oh, Deirdre stands near the vase, observing the flowers with something akin to a smile. The rare display surprises you, and you linger in your spot, unwilling to break the quietude. Quinn, Deirdre addresses you without taking her eyes away from the object of her apparent interest. I have a favor to ask of you. A favor, not an order. Intriguing. You and the Idrik can't be considered close. It's not that you are a recluse. It would be hard to remain solitary when surrounded with other people nearly 20 hours a day, but the Idrik acts rather amicably towards you, especially nowadays. It's obvious to the point that several other servants mention it in passing, though she hasn't done anything that accuse her of favoritism. Oh, I need to leave for a fortnight. I'd like you to supervise the manor in my absence, specifically Modesto. Ooh, I guess the plot is picking up. That's unusual. Deidre, being busy beyond measure, rarely ever leaves her office, not to mention heading for the town. Considering the distance and time, she can't be traveling all that far. Is there a reason she can't send the page to run her errand? Do I have your cord? Of course. The plot is picking up. If you had to guess her reasoning for appointing you in her stead, you'd say it's because of all the younger sevens. You are the least prone to gossip, and one of the few not utterly infatuated with the Lord. That is valid. Rich and attractive, decently behaved if frivolous. Apparently, the bar is that low. The roast. If you were to receive a marriage proposal from such a man, your father would, ooh, another piece to the puzzle of her character. Alas, it will never happen. There's a smaller part of you that fears her decision is steered by a different justification. As it is, every time she regards you, it feels as though she reads you like a book. Hmm. Can she tell that we're running away from something? If I happen to be delayed, oh, yeah, running back, if I happen to be delayed at last, turning your way, Leader seems to hesitate. Yes? It's nothing. You may go, she says, returning to her observations. I'll be departing at dawn. I'm expecting you to see me out. Ooh, Lady Deirdre. What is it? Oh, you we chose to stay silent, so we will continue to stay silent. It's nothing. Abiding by your earlier resolution, you swallow the words down, and after a nod, you excuse yourself. At night, you sleep fitfully, as you always do when the moon hangs on the firmament, heavy and full. Oh, full moon! At dawn, the moor is doubly as floating and pallid as it is on a good day. Even the first beams of sunlight fail to brighten the scenery. The mariner sands its head, descends in a deeper quiescence. Mm. There's a lot of words. I'm not sure about the pronunciation, and if I did anything wrong, c'est la vie. Standing unaccompanied by the road, watching the Idris carriage becoming but a speck of color in the distance, you can't help but reminisce about your own past. The tiny, in comparison to your old residence, manor pulls out of you memories long forgotten. We were a former noble. When you think of home, the silence responds, made greater by the long sunlit corridors, the richly dyed draperies, the gold ornament. The short moments of complete freedom are mute, broken by the music that reached out to your ears from 2 floors high. Your fingers spasm at the mirage, expecting a strike for messing up the chords. Ooh, ooh, so much intrigue. For the first time in months, your heart aches. Gathering your wits about you, you hurry inside to bury yourself under the duties that are temporarily passed to you, anything to steer your mind away from reminiscing. As you move through the manor, the light coming from the gap underneath the door to Modesto's room tells you that he must have returned recently, for once without causing a commotion. You leave your lord be. He won't require tending to any sooner than late evening. That grants that weird, I must have scrolled by accident. That grants you plenty of time to settle today's affairs, with only short breaks for trips to and fro Modesto's room to leave a cart with first lunch, then dinner in front of the door. Huh. Each time you come to exchange the dishes, the plates in the pitcher are empty. On the last run for the day, you are stopped by Rosemary. As is, it amazes you that the news of the Idris trip has only reached her now. You can predict her plea for word. Nope. You can predict her plea word for word. Thus, before she can greet you, you say, "No, Rosemary." Danger won't know, Rosemary entices, interrupting you mid-sentence. And it's not like it matters who's drinking the Lord water, and here her cheeks grow as red as a pair of red tomatoes. Girl, you really living in the little area. What the heck? Girl, you're living your Delulu era, but this is not it. This is not it. This is too dangerous. Uh, Here her cheeks grow as red as a pair of ripe tomatoes and helps him bathe. For this story, girl, the Delulu is not the Salulu. Don't. Indeed, it matters not. Honestly, knowing Modesto's character, he might prefer the attendance of a servant who fawns over him. You'd still oversee Rosemary's work from time to time, gaining yourself more leisure time in the process. Nah, I ain't getting in trouble with the Idre. You see that woman? Nah, I am not gonna get in trouble with the Idre. Refuse. Your unilateralism might be tolerated by the Idra now, but everyone has a breaking point. She might look the other way while you dawdle, but will she be as lenient when you break a direct order? You can't afford for her to kick you out. Looking for a new place to settle would be a chore, and with each relocation, the danger of being discovered rises. Quinn, please. I said no. All right, Rosemary hangs her head, quickly capitulating. I understand. You pretend not to notice the disappointed glances thrown your way as she shuffles away. I ain't getting on the wrong side of that woman. No, thank you. Just in case you think of trying her luck, you also wait an extra minute before knocking and entering the room. Oh, knocking first is only a perfectionary action as far as Modesto is concerned. Though you never had the honor of serving the Lord personally, given that your usual tasks involve running errands for the Udre and taking care of the manor, you've heard all about Modesto. You know not to expect him to be the most lucid. Hence, you were advised to let yourself in. You are, after all, obliged to check if your Lord is still alive, especially when he fails to respond. The first chamber out of the tree looks like your own. Instead of a bed, there's a settee, and in it lies Modesto, dead to the world around him. The floor is cluttered with various garments, empty bottles, and carafes. I still don't know how to pronounce this word. We're moving on. The air isn't dank only because Modesto had the base scruples to open the window. Smaller, smaller. sipping tea. Small miracles. Calling him once, then twice, he moved towards the curtains, pulling them to the side and permitting the sharp sun to spill in. Instantly, the Lord grumbles under his breath. However, to your impatience, he doesn't rise. My lord, it's high time to wake. Not even a murmur reaches you. Modesto buries his face into the pillow, continuing his nap. Irked, you grab the blanket that has partially fallen to the ground and yank it away, uncovering the slumbering form sprawled underneath. My God, Modesto mumbles. Why did I pause? 5 more. As flattering as it is, my lord, I'm just a servant. Leaning forward to shake Modesto awake, you grab his shoulders and say, now, if you'd be so kind. Modesto's cheek is squished by the pillow, but his eyes shoot open. There's no sleep in them. I had to pause because I'm checking his arms. Because, well, I am suspecting the wolf is him, but we'll never know. Okay, there's no sleep in them. Though they are undeniably hazy in the glow, they seem nearly red. Have we met? He asks, frowning. His nose twitches as though fighting against a sneeze. Excuse me? Amazing. You know he was ignorant and you didn't expect him to know your name. But seriously? Your dignity aside, does he know how dangerous it is? If anyone can come in and pretend to be a servant, his life could be in real danger. No, I meant, yes, we've met, my lord, close to 4 months ago at your manor. Straightening, you fold a blanket that you held in one hand, hang it on the frame to collect later. Now, after this merry reintroduction, if you are so kind as to stand. Oh, this is interesting. I really feel like he's the wolf. Whining and no longer interested, Modesto turns around to face the wall. It's too early. It's nearly evening. Besides, you have a guest, scheduled 3 hours from now. But he doesn't need to know that, does he? That does the trick, though just barely. Accompanied by the grumbling and complaining, you enter the adjoined room to prepare a bath. The chamber is larger than your bedroom. Figures. When you return, Modesto still lingering in the sheets, though thankfully awake. He's propped up his head on a palm, and lying thus he watches you bustle around until once again you pause in front of him. The bath is ready. You have a nice voice, and apparently each of you leads to a different conversation. Hmm. His, of course, takes priority. Sing me a lullaby. Whoa! I'll have to decline. It would be counterproductive. Then sing me a regular song. I'm a servant, my lord, not a minstrel. I'll pay for the extra work. How thoughtful. Seconds drip slowly, like water from a cracked pipe. You look at each other, Modesto, expectant, you unamused. At last he sighs, you're not going to sing. My lord is as wise as he is handsome. Truly a blessing. Ooh, there's banter now. The noise that escapes Modesto is something between an indignant cry and startled laughter. His face, likewise, doesn't know which expression it should don, settling on something akin to glee. Ooh, the little smirk. That was rude. Somehow Modesto sounds rather wondrous about it. It can't be the first time you were offended, my lord. You've witnessed at least 10 such junctures. Well, no, he admits with a grin. Usually, people are more subtle with their insults. Manners, you know. I'm just a commoner, my lord. What do I know about etiquette? Do you read? Do I look like someone with time to spare for recreation? Modesto huffs, but finally pushes himself off the settee. Here, he says, pulling something from a shelf and placing it on the table and passing. I'll take my bath now. You expect to be dismissed, but you're stopped mid-step. One of Modesto's brows is raised, his mouth stretched in a smile. Nope, I'll call you when I need you, which means wait for me here. Oh, what are you? A dog? God damn this man. Okay. Ah, alrighty. Perching yourself on the chair and accepting your fate, you reach for the item Modestus left. A book, to be precise, incredibly thick with scarlet gold cover and gold lettering. Hmm. Etiquette Rules for Beginners, Volume 1 of, I think this is 10. The mere sight of a book that was once featured in all your childhood nightmares makes you nauseous. Ooh, bastard, you mutter loud enough to carry. The answering laughter doesn't amuse you, but a surprised shout, "Hey, come back!" as the door bangs behind you does. "Fire me then," you adjust the air. "I dare you." Oh, there is already banter between these two. Interesting. The following days pursue in the same fashion. Waking up, checking the newly arrived letters, overseeing the meals, struggling to wake Modesto, and struggling again to assist him with his bath. The last affair is made longer by Modesto's need to annoy you to the point of you dropping a towel and storming off in a huff. You always thought of yourself as a rather, oh, okay, we'll go for a gender neutral, resilient person. But that was only until you had the pleasure of interacting with Modesto on a daily basis. Superintending the servants means helping them out, and that doesn't exclude you from the daily session in convincing Modesto to have his meals at the dinner table instead of in bed. Your struggles continue until evening, when it's time to put Modesto to sleep. Then another day comes, and a new round of the same old battles begin. If not for Modesto's good humor, a feat noticed and discussed by your fellow servants at length, you'd think the Lord is trying to drive you out of the mansion. That, or you're paying the price of Modesto's last playmate, who disappeared last month into the woods and hasn't been seen since. Are you gonna have another body? Oh no. The number one sentence you repeat both in your mind and out loud is, "One of these days, I'm really going to quit." Number two is a question you direct to anyone you pass. Is later danger there yet? The answer is no, until it isn't. Just as you take a breath of relief, "I'll have to answer you to continue your duties." No, answer. Why did I say that? Oh, I need a tea sip. Ah, "I'll have to ask you to continue your duties," Deirdre says, massaging her temples. Ooh, something is going on with her. She sounds conflicted, and you can't blame her. Since she employed you, she had you handle official matters like running errands and so on. Objectively, you are not good at it, and it'd be a waste for her not to use your skill. Why do you say you're not? You're good at it. Gracious. It's either the evening is wearing on me, or I need to take more hydration. Hydration it is. Y'all don't forget to hydrate, okay? I have a cup of tea and a bottle of water. Alright, let's run this back. She sounds conflicted, and you can't blame her. Since she employed you, she had you handle official matters like running errands and so on. Objectively, you're good at it, and it'd be a waste for her not to use your skill. However, faced with Modesto's whining, the only way to end up without a headache is to give in. Oh no, I understand. More than, there's something you're aware of, no matter how strongly you might deny it. You spent the last years asleep. Huh? There's no other term for it. You were a dead person walking until you met Modesto, who's welcomed himself into your life. Ooh, is there already a quick building romance? Interesting. Stepping into it with muddy shoes leaving footprints in his wake. And it appears as though your predicament is shared by Modesto as well. Though it's a known fact that when not actively attending parties, Modesto prances around in his nightclothes, sleeping the hours away. Now he makes you dress him in his best outfits, trying on several of them before making a final choice. Woo! And that's only one of Modesto's recent whims. During one of your conversations, because those happen as well and surprisingly never stay one sided. You let it slip that you're somewhat skilled at playing the piano. Ooh, something is building up. Pardon the burp. That was not heard. Cool. Anyway, since then, Modesto insists you teach him as well. His voice, though unburdened by alcohol, isn't any better. You don't understand why you're opening up to him or why it comes so easily. As far as leverage goes, however, the more rational part of your brain is satisfied that for each secret you share, Modesto gives two. Ah. And yet, the raw feeling of coming back to life is staggering. The shortness of your breath at the sight of him even more so. Oh, there's intimacy growing. You spend your first fall at the manor, then the harsh winter. You're here to see the first snow blanketing the moor and the first flowers to bloom the next spring. The forest is calm and you don't encounter the beast ever again. Hmm, interesting. Slowly, you put no, don't. Be aware. You never know. Slowly, you put its existence out of your mind completely. The murders too become a norm. Why are the murders becoming a norm? Nah, nah, no. And you grown rather numb to the prevailing news of the slain victims found in the vicinity. As you've yet to encounter a scene of misfortune yourself, the news of the deaths feel as distant as the rumors of the plague spread by the gossip-hungry townspeople. Though some members of the staff decide to abandon the manor for that very reason, you're one of those who remains. This month, and it is nearing its end, there's no talk about death, new or otherwise. Rather than relieved at the lack of corpses, the staff becomes angsty and the atmosphere grows tense. Oh, aside from all that is unchanged, there's a deviation from the norm. You didn't realize it at first, but after a while, you ran out of excuses to dismiss it. The Lord stays in the manor more often than not, calling for you nearly as soon as he's awoken. From the early morning bath to the evening meal, your days are occupied with duty, leisure, and modesto. Oh, you don't entirely hate it. On the contrary, though you keep the thought to yourself, you look forward to every interaction, to every new day by his side. You're mature enough to admit that you were wrong about him. It makes you think, what else were you mistaken about? Only time can tell. Just like last year on the anniversary of her husband's passing, Deirdre departs for a fortnight, leaving the manor in your hands. This time, however, Deirdre's absence stretches beyond the declared 2 weeks, and as her absence stretches, your anxiety grows. Oh boy, you shudder to think what could have happened to Deirdre on her way back, entertaining many dreadful scenarios until a letter arrives assuring you of her whereabouts. The storms make it storms. Interesting. I'm saying interesting a lot, but there's a lot of intrigue, honestly. The storms make it impossible to travel, but I will do everything in my power to come home. There's something scribbled after the sentence. You can't discern the before, but nothing much after. Huh. Maybe it ought to concern you. After all, the edger is too meticulous to make mistakes, and too neat to use a crumpled and dirty piece of paper. Then again, she hates being late. She must be furious. You are prepared to handle her full responsibilities for a short time, as well as the train, as well as train the small group of there's new servants, okay, that bravely ventured into the moors. It's by no means easier than it was last year. If anything, it's the opposite. There are always letters to answer, expenditure to count and document. You're exhausted more often than not, and with great alleviation. You permit Rosemary to care. Mmm, that sounds that yeah, I have a bad feeling about that one. You permit Rosemary to care for Modesto during your shifts, having not been bound by an order or promise. All is well until one midnight that you spend holed up in the study with only the documents for company. Every so often you peek out the window at the beaten road, hoping to see the carriage. Outside, instead of a dearly awaited sight, an unwanted, I think, commotion catches your eye. Oh no. I was right about her being a victim. No. Aside from the brown pale of the moon, the only point of lightness is Rosemary's starched dress, flowing in the wind like a white flag. Uh, from that far, you don't see her face, but she's running through the moor as if crazed, with her small pouch clenched in her fist. Oh, I don't want her to die. Oh, not the music. God, no. Okay. Because of her solid head start, you lose track of her once you enter the backwoods. Even wrapped in her pale dress, she quickly melts into the darkness. By the time you realize you're lost in betwixt the twisted trees, it's too late to turn back. Aside from the sound of your rough breath and the muted howling that resounds from behind, the encompassing silence is gut wrenching. I am trying to be perky, so not to be frightened from the music. Taking turns at random, you search for a landmark that could orient yourself in space. You'll find none. Oh, no. At first. Hello, sir? Hello? Hi? I see that pointed ear. Hello? Circling a particularly thick tree, you discover a clearing. There you see a tall man looking out of place. This is not Modesto, and yet so behaving mundanely that thoughtlessly you greet him with a good evening, to which he responds in kind. Good evening. Dressed in his Sunday best with short hair slicked back, he blinks at you calmly. All the while he's wiping his gloves using a white handkerchief. The oh, ho, ho, oh no, oh no, hello, goodbye. Do I run? I don't know. The material quickly stains red. Do we run? Oh, that's when you notice it, the body lying underneath his feet. Not Rosemary's, thank God, but the mayor's son, the familiar face made alien, contorted into a grimace pain. His stomach is split in half. In one of his hands, he's gripping a torn strip of pale starched fabric. Was he chasing Rosemary? Swallowing reflexively, you take a step back. Opens that Opaline, I don't know how to pronounce it. Opaline's this way, the man speaks slowly, as though to a child. When you look back at him, he points to the right, where once you strain your eyes, you notice a tiny light, the manor. With a nod, you begin to back away. Joined stiff with nerves, the man halts you with a sign of his hand, or rather his finger placed against his lips. Understood, you mutter, because indeed it would not be hard not to. Giving the man no time to reconsider, you swiftly retreat. Yes, run. Just run. It's a. Why is the music getting worse? It's a Pyrrhic victory, though, as it seems you have evaded one beast only to run into another. The milliseconds of fright you experience upon observing a hunched silhouette half standing by the main entrance passes once you realize it's only Modesto, still in his nightgown, eyes bloodshot and delirious, focused and yet not truly. My lord? The music! Modesto's attention is fixed on you from meters away, having become so nearly the sec having become so nearly the second you emerge from the forest. Meeting you midway, he wraps his hand around your wrist and pulls with enough strength to have you topple into his chest. What are you? Despite the action, he appears to be sleepwalking. His expression sobers when you call out to him, clearly completely clearing completely when you press an open hand to his forehead to check his. I need a sip. The music is. Mm. Clearing completely when you press an open hand to his forehead to check for fever. Whatever malady has befallen Modesto, he's not only febrile, febrile, but also unsteady. His knees buckle at a slight touch, and you barely catch him before he stumbles to the ground. My lord! Modesto's body is a scorching and heavy weight in your grasp. His fingers hook into the material of your shirt, stiffening. His breath is hot enough to melt your skin as he mutters torpidly, I'm sorry, over and over again. What's going on? You only get to move him when he loses his consciousness. His limbs turn lax, making it all the harder to maneuver him up the stairs and through the hallways. Disregarding the lack of decorum on your part, wary by the recent events and the struggle, you drag Modesto to the closest empty chamber you can find, placing him on the bed. To your immense relief, he seems vastly improved in such a short time. Having been placed on a mattress, he sleeps unbothered. Reassured, though still shaken, you sit on the edge of the bed just for a second to catch your breath. Somehow, between one blink and the other, you drift off. You don't dream, but you swear you can sense something soft brushing adroitly against your temple. It doesn't last long, and the next sensation you feel is a wetness on your cheek, drop after drop, as though a drizzle. When you rouse, your fingers sweep that area almost by reflex. Your skin is dry. As you open your eyes, you see that the room is still dark but empty. The sheets, though, still smell like Modesto, rose water and herbs with a hint of copper. Hmm. Come morning, you learn that nobody knows the reason for Rosemary's flight. It was as sudden as it was bizarre. The body of the mayor's son is found shortly after, mutilated beyond recognition. Nobody wants to talk about it, and honestly, neither do you. When you mention the man you encountered in the forest, the gardener gives you a faint smile. We don't have them here, wolves, he said back then. He wasn't lying. Why did he say wolves? And that was that man not Modesto? The design is the facial design is the same, but it's not? Interesting. Okay. A shifter is indeed not an animal. Modesto is nowhere to be found for the next couple of days. Huddled up in his chambers, once he decides to grace you with his presence, it's only to formally request for another servant. You're too befuddled and tired to argue. When the Aegir finally returns, your world shifts back to normal. Nothing is really the same though. Hmm. On the moor, the passage of time stalls. Oh, the music, the music! The cold landscape seems eternal, altered only by the sheet of snow or blooming heather, a purgatory of your own choosing. Aside from the persistent anxiety that mounts and collapses like the tide below the cliff, you're burdened by the sickness of melancholy. In dreams, you're haunted by the stills of the palace. The palace? Are we a runaway royal? Awake, you're only partially present, half in your memories, half there in the manor. Deprived of Rosemary's unrelenting chatter, you come to understand how lonely you are. The staff comes and goes, the same handful of you remains. Between the work and the romance of, no, not rest, when your hands are idle, your mind uproars. Left to your own devices with nothing to occupy you, you finally comprehend just how tightly Modesto has tangled himself in your life. The hole you left behind is tangible. Oh, you coexist in the same space. His room is two corridors down from yours. Close but miles away. It's like you're destined to cross but never to meet. Ooh, drama. Modesto avoids you. It comes to the point that he unceremoniously evades you whenever you stumble into each other, without lying or excusing himself. You'd think he just had his fun with you. No, you'd think he just had his fun with you after all. Isn't that what nobles do? If you didn't feel his eyes on you burning through your skin. I thought the music calmed down, it didn't. Ugh. His foul mood persists, and nobody who encounters him is safe from his short temper. Today it's no different. Both frightened and eager to see their lord, the members of the staff flock in front of Modesto's room, playing sticks of all things. They try to interpret. Oh boy. They try to determine who's going to be the lucky or unlucky victor. Usually they do it while giggling and gossiping. Now the clock ticks, and yet none of the retainers reaches for the first straw. The braver one stops and glances at you as you pass, not with envy nor awe, but an unvoiced plea. If Modesto's left to wait, all of your asses will be on fire. Oop! Corporal punishment at its finest. Breathing in through your nose, you turn your eyes towards the ceiling, giving yourself a few seconds to hold an irate comment aside. Then you grab the silver tray from the trolley, and without waiting to hear them sing your praises, you enter the it's a hold on. Oh, okay. You enter the den of the dragon. What is it now, Modesto? Joe, muffled by the wall, sounds beyond aggravated. Aside from the rasp of his voice, the splash of water can also be heard as he gets out of the tub and hastes to chase away whoever dared to disturb his peace. 2 seconds, 5, 10, even in anger he makes people wait. You don't need to see him to know he has no care for the wooden flooring or the expensive carpet. Emerging from the adjoining chamber with only a towel wrapped around himself and dripping water all around, he snarls, I think I said, the meal's ready, my lord, you intercept, placing the tray on the nearest flat surface, a little louder than decorum dictates. Ooh. On your lips, there's an already prepared excuse, the why of your presence. It dies down as soon as you lift your head. Ooh! Oh, hello, sir! Hi! It's hard to gauge what exactly makes Modesto stop dead in his tracks, the sight of you or your voice. Whichever it is, he halts on the threshold, blinking owlishly. If you didn't know him better, you'd call him petrified. It can't be right, though, seeing as he's hardly ever as much as hesitant. Ooh! Stupidly fearless, yes, but never afraid. Every word you juggle in your head is somewhat lacking. The silence, on the other hand, is unnatural and awkward. Your legs are suddenly like logs. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. But you force yourself to retreat. You take but a step, rotating yourself partially before Modesto calls out to you. A garbled mix of weight and your name. Ooh. When you pivot, he looks as surprised by his outburst as you are. He must have called at your retreating back by habit, having done so countless times in the past. Oh! Not one to lose face, he recovers quickly, spreading his arms to let the towel fall. Dry me. Oh! It's instinctual, picking and unfolding the cube of soft drying fabric from the vanity, walking towards him. Somehow you no longer assault him with a variety of curses in your mind. Instead, before your brain can catch up with your limbs, you throw the towel over Modesto's face, delighting in the flabbergasted meat he chokes out. Whoop! His revenge is not even intended. And yet the blow stings all the same. Your own feelings turn against you, as everything else they too work in Modesto's favor. You can pretend the heat you feel is caused by steam. You only wish you were obtuse enough to believe the lie. Firm up close, Modesto smells like rose oil and perfume, heavy, almost choking. Underneath it all, you discern a scent of herbs and metal, the usual combination. Drying Modesto's hair first, as fast as you can, and lacking gentleness, you catch yourself looking forward to brushing it. Ooh, there is a lot of tension going on. Usually, he's all amenable when you do, going as far as to mutter, please, if you tease him long enough, you could. God damn this. It's not the time to think about it, especially not when you don't even know where you stand. With urgency to have this task completed, you yank the towel lower, uncovering Modesto's face. Oop! Another mistake. You ought to have walked away when you had a chance. It's too late. Modesto's eyes capture your undivided attention. No, not simply the eyes, but the raw look in them you'd rather not decipher. It sends your pulse into a wild gallop, and you look away first. Oh, the tension! In the guise of your duty, you ignore the beguiling shadows cast by Modesto's eyelashes as they fan his soft cheeks, the redness of his lips, the tongue that darts to lick a stray drop. Oh, droplet of water! Oh, ho, ho. Absent makes the heart grow fonder. What a line. You used to think it's worth less than dirt, but look at you now, weeks worth of dirt, years? And you're like a desert nomad feverishly seeking after an oasis. You can only pray Modestus as aware of your feelings as you were not so long ago. That's to say, not at all. Done with drying and without a second of delay, you start with the clothes. White smock shirt, black jawed purse. Huh. Modesto rarely rides horseback, but he favors the look. Pretentious bastard. He says he knows he looks dashing. You'd rather bite your lips bloody than utter an agreement. Oop. The riding pants along with underwear Modesto dons himself. The shirt is yours to deal with, and privately you are glad Modesto's preferred home gown consists of simple pieces only. There you are. After pulling the shirt over Modesto's head, you manage to restore a respectful distance while taking care of the collar. One button, the second. Just when you start to wonder why he's so docile, Modesto takes half a step forward, forcing you to fold your arms to accommodate him. Ooh! It's either that or toppling down to the mattress. I gasp. That straight thought has your fingers fumbling with the last button. Quinn, it's just a whisper, but paired up with the hot breath wafting against your skin, you struggle to stop a shiver that threatens to shake your frame. Quinn, look at me, Modesto implores again, but he might as well call into a void. He can't do so. It feels as though the moment you do, something will change. I'm done, you inform instead, waiting for Modesto to retreat so that you can move, without having to push him backwards. My lord, I'm in a hurry, I promised Lady Deirdre. Ooh, Modesto, smart parts. Yes, it wouldn't be like him to not have the last word. All right, it surprises you to hear an agreement instead of I'm fumbling. Instead of an argument, be that it may, he drift soft. As though only now aware of the scant space between your bodies, Modesto stalks to the wardrobe. Idly, he shuffles through the clothes, resting there, and in a moment of time he says, find me when you're done with your errand. My lord, I have something to tell you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh no, 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 no. He knows. Of course he has to. With all those people gazing after him. How could he not? If he is to fire you, oh God. If it's important, you babble, picking up the wet towel to buy yourself more time. The residual moisture is freezing against your fingers, lingering even after you hang the square material over the chair's back. Your heartbeat is so loud you can hear the echo of it in your ears. If it's an important, if it's important, you repeat, tripping over your tongue. I'm sure Lady Deirdre will. Oh, you were so eager to leave, Modesto without looking from the outfit he held in his hands. An undertone of irritation in his tone might be hidden, but if you learned how to pick up the hints. Go now and return. Oh! 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 Yes. Oh, oh, oh no. Ah, do I be impudent? Oh. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Expecting the opposition, but still undoubtedly displeased by it, Modesto glares at you in the mirror attached to the wardrobe. Fine. At once his irises dyed into a rich red hue. It's unnatural, just like the glint of razor sharp incisors when his upper lip lifts in a grin. What? No reaction? How disappointing. That's what he says, but his grip on the clothes is unsteady. What do you want me to say, my lord? That I'm afraid? Aren't you? You've never given me a reason to. You. Besides, I already knew, or strongly suspected, a dire wolf lounging in the forest around the moor whom nobody has seen and everybody refuses to mention. I saw you in the forest last year. Ooh, what? Modesto gaps. The honest surprise has your self-confident smirk dimming. It's impossible. The chains. Then the dire wolf I met. Wait, what chains? Ooh, oh boy. Oh, is another person? Oh, deep in thought, Modesto ignores her questions, mumbling to himself, no, I would have known. If there were others, I would have. He pauses suddenly, then mumbles stricken, Amadeus. Who? My that the brother? Oh, my dead brother. Releasing the clothes now in tatters, Modesto leans against the wardrobe. I don't understand. How could your dead brother be alive and well, if that was even him? Modesto hooks his finger into the strands of his hair, keeping his head down as he recounts the painful memories. Ooh! So you know what I am? Not a devil, but not human either. Then your brother? My twin, older twin. The issue with our kind is that though we're meant to live in packs, children born of the same parents fight for power once the leader is dead to replace them. He looks so stunned, so weak that you can't help yourself. You take his hand in yours, fleetingly dazed by the look of absolute wonder he gives you, before it melts into a thoughtful frown. Years ago, when the night my parents were murdered, me and Amadeus escaped to the forest. Huh. We were told to look for the second, huh, second manor, a place they built in case we had to be separated once a month so that we wouldn't kill each other. Whoa, did you? I don't remember, but if I'm here and he is not, what else could it mean? A moment of silence passes, then he looks up. But you're not running away? Do you want me to? Just a moment of silence, because I feel something tickling my nose and I don't want to make a. Already. Okay, and we're back. There's so much going on. Letting out an unsteady laughter, Modesto shakes his head. I was sure you would. Then you were wrong. First time it happened to me. You wish. He grins at the jibe, and you feel yourself mimicking the expression. We can talk more about it if you wish. Later, don't let me keep you, he says, though he's yet to unwind your fingers. Well, do let me keep you. Ooh, how annoyingly smooth. Should I keep you as well, you ask, half in jest, half in truth. You already have me. Mod- you already have me, Modesto says, then groans right after. He doesn't blush, though what a shame. It's rather charming, you find, his bashfulness, and so you press a kiss to the back of his hand before untangling it. Ooh, before untangling yourself. Ooh. But as with the last word, he has to have the last action as well. Ducking. Oh! Ducking, he presses his lips to yours. Here and gone again. He's very pleased when the only response you have is a quick breath. I'll be right back, you mumble. Your mouth tingles with the ghost of his touch. I'll be waiting. You rush out of the room, barely remembering to say your goodbyes. Woo! Oh, not the music! Your only errand today is a mindless though lengthy one, made longer by your scattered attention. Your thought runs awry, coiling around the kiss, Modestus touch, his ah. It takes you an hour to reach the town's post office, then another half to issue all the invitations and letters Adria instructed you to. It's only on your way back to the carriage that you notice the unusual silence and the lack of stray glances. Strangely enough, except for a bunch of children playing around, the streets are empty. This is ominous, which makes it all the easier to spot a lone woman sprinting your way. Rosemary? When, oh God, I was looking for you. You'd expect her to avoid you, but instead Rosemary runs towards you. Her hair is disheveled and her skin is red. She must have run for a while. I was going to the manor, but I heard you. Out of breath, she has to pause mid-sentence. Come down and take a... Oh, there's no time. Grabbing you by the wrist, she pulls you towards your original destination. You need to go. Look, I don't know what had happened between you and Modesto, but he didn't. Oh! Look, I don't know what had happened between you and Modesto, but he didn't. No, no, I know. The devil, the spectre. Did you see him? She blathers, changing the subject so abruptly you have trouble following. He was the one who killed Mayor's son, that bastard. That night he and his friends were hunting in the forest. They left, but he stayed, and I... She pales at the memory and your chest tightens. What did he do? Nothing, nothing much. The spectre found him and killed him. Ooh, the mayor's son. Ah, he was so scum. You can only imagine what he'd do to a lonely woman, knowing full well that with his father's backing, there would be no punishment befalling him for his crime. Ooh, I knew she was going to be a victim of sorts. But that's not of no matter, Rosemary continues, increasing her pace. When the mayor is leading people towards the manor, he told everyone it was Lord Modesto's doing. I was coming to warn you. In hindsight, there was no other way for it to end. Ooh, the murders kept most of the people away, but sooner or later someone important enough would have to kick the bucket, spilling the blame on none other than the devil of the moor. Ooh boy. So, this seems like the climax. In your alarm, you forgot to ask Rosemary why she left the manor, but since she was willing to return, it mustn't have been that important. Dashing as fast as you can, you race towards the carriage, losing the woman somewhere along the way. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. You don't get to enter it though. As soon as you turn to face it, oh no! A sharp pain splits your head open, stealing your consciousness away. Was it Rosemary? Oh boy. You regain it in a dim room at the manor. The back of your head is wet. The air engulfs in the scent of copper. Oh my gosh, please don't tell me we're gonna die! No! In confusion, you look away, thinking that perhaps you have just awoken from a dream, but no, the remnants of the headache are still with you when you try to stand. Stay still, a voice addresses you, low, unfamiliar, belonging to a shadow of a man with a brawny posture. Next to him stands two more people. In the darkness, you see only their shapes: a guard still in her full armor, and a quack with a thick beard. A quack with a thick beard. Huh? Both of them are holding Modesto. His arms are bound by ropes. He seems entirely out of it, but when your eyes meet across the room, he grunts, "Leave them alone." Oh, Burly Man laughs bitterly. "Just as you left me without a son, I'm going to watch you rip your heart with your own hands. Only then will I grant you the mercy of death." Oh man! Modesto tenses, but then his lips curl into a wild smirk. "Oh, is that so? And how are you going to make me? The sky is clear." Oh, there are other ways to rouse a sleeping beast besides the full moon, the guard says, grabbing a fistful of Modesto's hair and thus lifting his head enough for the elder to pour a strange liquid right into Modesto's open mouth. Oh my, it's alcohol. You can smell that much. Modesto's usual drink, just stronger, judging by the stench of herbs. Huh? Is this the warning about alcohol as medicine, man? Modesto struggles. Nevertheless, at least half of the bottle ends up in his stomach. Then, barely a few seconds later, the guard unhands your lord as he begins to cough. Red fluid drips on the ground, down Modesto's chin. "What did you give him?" you ask, both enraged and confused. "Wolfsbane, what else? And a dash of your blood," the elder mutters, absent-mindedly, while the other two back away. An injured wolf is a fatuous wolf. The bounds wrap around Modesto fall. We don't need a full shift for him to lose his mind. Oh my god! You hear the mayor and his guard shift in front of the door. Drawing their swords, they block your only means of escape. Modesto thrashes around, growling, heaving, and spitting out mouthfuls of blood. His nails become claws, punching holes in the woodwork. Against your vague predictions, Modesto doesn't transform any further, only his eyes shine red, fixed on you. There's no cognition, no warmth. He pants, crouching up like a predator ready to strike, parted lips uncover two elongated fangs. If it is death that comes for you, let it be swift, you think, and close your eyes. No! There's a rush of air, then a scream. Not yours, no. In mere seconds, three bodies fall to the ground: the guard, the mayor, and lastly the quack. Then last one standing is Modesto, but he as well finds himself back down, crouching in front of you. You're scared, of course, but not of him, whether it's wise or not. Oh, he said. Modesto doesn't look sane, but he's far from a mindless beast. He was painted to be. Even the adversaries you see now are dead, just knocked out. They were just knocked out. While you observe the unconscious bodies, Modesto brings his face closer to yours and... Ah, stop it! You yank yourself backwards, away from Modesto's tongue that lapped the wound at the back of your head. Whoop! Modesto, if anything, huffs at you, apparently disgruntled by the lack of cooperation. Yes, whatever you say, I think we should. The door is closed, but not locked, as you find out when it opens and Deirdre rushes in. Oh, she startles, and a bulk of keys fall from her hands, rousing Modesto from his momentary stupor. His head whips in Deirdre's direction, and though Deirdre looks more concerned than scared, it's undeniable that in his fragile state of mind, she is considered as foe more than friend. Modesto, no, you yelp when you notice him move. Surprisingly, it's only so he can wrap an arm around your midsection, pulling you away from Deirdre and baring his teeth. Ooh! Truly an ungrateful child, Deirdre hums, bending to pick up the keys. In the last moment, though, she decides to push them towards you instead. The pathway is clear for now. Rosemary created a distraction. It'd be best for you to leave now. And then what? That's up to you, as I I suppose. Huh? She says then pointedly looks at your hand that lies protectively on Modesto's arm. You don't know when you put it there, but you suppose it is a statement in itself. Our Lord has no recollection of what transpires during his shifts, but once you leave the moors, he'll guide you to the city. And you? Are you staying? Interesting. The actress shakes her head. I think we stalled long enough, waiting for some kind of miracle. She pauses and then smiles slightly. Then again, maybe we did find it. Did I get the good ending, please? Her musings are broken by a commotion breaking out outside, echoes of chatter, nothing urgent, but it brings you all back to the matters at hand. At any rate, you go first, the editor concludes, already retreating. There will be a carriage hidden on the other side of the forest. Go to the city, we will join you. With that, she leaves, and you do the same shortly after, taking Modesto by the hand. You sneak out of the manor through the hidden servant corridors. Oh, I'm babbling. Oh gosh. Modesto, fluctuating between awareness and reverie, trails after you down the shortest route and straight into the forest. You're not as lucky as to avoid the crowd entirely. A couple of guards patrolling the woodland notice your silhouettes and give chase, forcing you to abuse your legs, already exhausted by the constant exercise. Come on! The rain of arrows, though, persuades you against even thinking of stopping. There will be no clemency when they catch you, only death. Please? The voices and footsteps get louder and you grit your teeth, painfully aware of the impending demise. That's when a shout of, "There he is! Catch him!" resounds from behind you, and the voices and footsteps both change directions. The twin! There must have been a mistake. The guards are out there hunting an animal or... Ah, whatever it is, you'd be a fool to squander such an opportunity. You look over your shoulder only once, out of some stupid curiosity. Oh! Amidst the trees, you spot a man. He gives you a nod before vanishing. With Modesto by your side, the resemblance between the spectre and your lord is truly uncanny. You don't know what his plan was, if he wanted to ruin Modesto's reputation, or on the contrary, shield him from the public eye. Whichever it was, you can only guess. As per the edge's promise, the carriage with the page as your charioteer waits for you in the clearing. Safety and salvation, but you only release your breath when the manor and the surrounding moor disappear from the view. You're placed by the cobbled road of the town. Without the guards and aggressors here, nobody dares to stop you. The sun rises languidly above your head. In your lap, a bee sleeps. A new day crawls to a start. Is this an ending? Oh! Whoa! Oh! Okay, I didn't read that, sorry. You can pause to read. Okay. So I got ending 4 of 4. Interesting. Okay, I say interesting a lot, but everything about it is so interesting. But it feels like there's so many unanswered questions. Okay. Do I want to go? Okay. I got ending 4 of 4. Do I want to try for the other 3 endings? Oh my god. Okay. We'll go backwards. So I'll try to get ending 3 of 3. Okay. Um. Okay. Right. We're gonna go speed run this. And we're gonna go speed run this because I have to go to the wolf choice. Yeah. Okay, okay, I can speed run it. We're gonna go speed run until we have to make the choice. I'm gonna go stick with same choices for the initial. Oh, quit. Okay, okay, we're gonna go save this. Okay, we're gonna go escape. Okay. At once you break into a run through the thick forest in the vague direction of the manor. The only reason why you didn't drop the basket is that you reflexively tighten your hold on it, crushing it to your chest as if it was a shield. The flowers, though opposed to the kindling, secured by ropes, spill out and fall, crushed and forgotten under your feet. Even as the leaves slap your uncovered skin, the branches scrape it raw. You don't react to the pain and discomfort. The only thought in your head is run, and so you do, not stopping until you make it to the garden. Whoa, the old gardener calls out to you with amusement, coloring his voice. What's the rush? The dinner's not served yet. I think giving you get yourself under control when you can finally breathe without coughing out your lungs. You repeat, I think I saw a dire wolf. No way, we don't have him. We don't have him here. Wolves of any kind, the old man says, picking up the rake. He's avoiding your eyes in the guise of being busy. If that reaction didn't cause you to break into goosebumps, the warning in his tone does. Must have been a large dog. You're pretty sure you know what a dog looks like, but you're hardly going to argue. The first lesson you learned once you entered the service was when to keep your mouth shut and your eyes averted. It explains why the most commonly repeated words in the manner are, I don't know. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, rings repeat. You only hope your encounter didn't paint a target on your back. Okay. Alright, is this the same? Okay. This is the same. Okay. Oh, the flower scene was not included. For now, you bring the basket inside, adding the kindling to the growing pile, then idly admiring a job well done, with nothing else to do before dinner, and the unease still lurking in the deepest parts of your brain. You aimlessly walk around the hallways looking for something that needs to be done. Okay, okay, it's a little different. Deidre stands near the window, staring at the horizon, her brows scrunched in thought. The view is fixed on the garden, though there's not much to look at. The soil is of poor quality, thus the crops are scarce and homogeneous, mostly under huh, mostly undemanding herbs to spice the meals with. Okay, so the flower seed was not included. Okay, this is the same. Okay, okay. I think this is the same. I don't think there's impact, so I'll stick with it's nothing. Okay, this time we'll try agree. Fine, you sigh, mentally calculating the various activities you'll engage in during your break. On top of the list, there's a good night's sleep. Do as you will. Thank you, Quinn. You're the sweetest, the nicest. All right. Pushing the cart in your direction, you don't even wait to see her grab the rails before you turn around. Duty awaits. For her, for you, there's only peace and quiet. True to Rosemary's promises, Deirdre doesn't learn or simply doesn't care about the change in plans, and your life goes on uninterrupted. Alright, that one's the same. Same. Okay. Except for the scenes of Modesto, that's interesting. So we have the scenes with Modesto cut. This is all the same, so I'm just gonna rush through it. Okay. Okay. You're exhausted more often than not, and with great alleviation. Okay. This is the same. Hmm. Oh, okay. You stay. Okay, I'm gonna have to stay. This will lead to ending three if if the guide is correct. Okay. The page had just returned from the village earlier today. He must have brought bad news from Rosemary's family. It would be just like her to rush back without thinking it through. Or so you think. Come morning, you learn that nobody knows the reason for Rosemary's disappearance. It was as sudden as it was bizarre. Worse still, a new body is found shortly after, this time in the forest, mutilated beyond recognition. Modesto doesn't react to the news, aside from sending the page to inquire about the identity of the victim. He's not amused at being woken before the schedule, but he spares you all his whining. Huh. The local doctor spends weeks collecting all the remains of the desecrated person, unsuccessfully. It wasn't Rosemary, that much you do know. According to the page, she's back at home. Oh, sorry. She's back home, but she refuses all contact. I need to take a moment. Okay. When the injury finally returns, your wallet ships back to normal. Nothing is really the same though. Okay, this one is the same. Okay, this is the same. Okay, this is the same as well. Oh no! Oh, oh sorry, I didn't sorry. You're okay. You're too late, you realize with dread. The flood of people wielding weapons and torches marches on towards the moor, clearly visible against the fading sun. The staff is running in panic. Only the Idris stands by the entrance door, imperial and equanimous. If she's surprised to see you, she doesn't show it. When you ask about Modesto, she only shakes her head. With no wasted words, she hands you a pouch, heavy with all your earnings and then some. For your loyal service, she says. Her voice is drowned by the wind and the shouting that grows louder and louder with each passing second. Now go and don't look back. What about you? I swore to guard that child to my last dying breath. She huffs. Then astonishingly, she smiles. It's so light, it might have been a trick of the light. And I'm not the only one. Oh, you don't protest when she shoos you away. You only wish her luck, then race opposite to the approaching mob into the forest. The night descends, but you don't stop, not until someone makes you. The spectre, the actual devil of the moor, emerges from the thick shadows and stands on your way. Ashamed, he mutters, as though to himself, looking you up and down. His eyes burn bright red. Oh no, do we die? Oh no, do we die? Oh no! All of you were to scum, greedy, unfaithful. The man's face stays placid, but but his voice is filled with disgust. Worry not, I'll make it quick. No! Launching your. Oh, I have to reread this. This was like a really impactful line. All of you, worthless scum, greedy, unfaithful. The man's face stays placid, but his voice is filled with disgust. Worry not, I'll make it quick. Launching yourself backwards, you try to escape, in vain. Against the inhuman speed and strength of the spectre, you're hopeless. True to his word, you don't suffer long. The last thing you see before a stab of pain rips through you is a drop of scarlet eyes against the smothered darkness of the sky. Oh my goodness, was it his iris or the moon? You'll never know. Oh man. Okay, I'm glad I got this ending where I survived. The moon hung over the planet Earth, a dead thing over a dying thing. Ooh. Okay, let's go for ending two. Okay. All right. Let's speed through because we did this before. I'm curious, is the forest dangerous? Breaking your vow, you attempt to pry information out of Deirdre in the most roundabout way you can. It's a large stretch of land, mainly unrestricted. Aside from the terrain and the oh, Deirdre blinks, though her mien remains unchanged. Ah, I understand. For a while she stands unmoved, battling her thoughts. Her fingers slide towards her rosary absent-mindedly. I suppose it's time to notify the hunters. It is the season, isn't it? With a weary sigh, she closes her eyes. When she opens them again, she's once again perfectly poised. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'll see to resolve the issue before my departure. Oh, the dismissal is clear enough. After a nod, you excuse yourself. All right. Okay. Next, we have to agree. Then we're gonna go fast forward. We're gonna stay. We already saw this. Oops, 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 oops. Okay. Yeah, this is the same. Okay. This one is the same as well. Okay. Okay. What's the difference? You're too late, you realize with dread. The flood of people will. Okay, this one is the same. The sound. Okay. Alright, what's different about this one? Do we get to live? A shame, he mutters. He was the one we saved! But let it not be known that I don't repay my debts. Taking a step to the side to let you pass, he begins to pull off his gloves, uncovering thin charred fingers and thick nails. Go, little bird, he says, flee. You didn't need to be told twice. Ooh, paint me a heaven of love with your bloody mouth. Okay, we're gonna go for the last one. Okay, load. We're gonna save it. I'll stick with it's nothing. let her take care of him, but this time we go after her. We catch up with her just before she can enter the forest. Oh, her face is stained with tears that keep on falling. I need to, we need to. What happened? What's Modesto? He really is a monster. He's actually Rosemary cries, showing you her arm where four long scratches are. The blood has risen to the surface, but it doesn't spill. The back of her dress is dirty and crumpled, as though she was pushed away with great strength before falling on her backside. When I saw the chains on his mattress, I just thought he might have some peculiar interest, but he's. Wait, what? It takes her a while to calm down. Even then, her monologue is interrupted by outbursts of wailing. I came to the room. I know he says to never do that, but I forgot my handkerchief and I thought, behind you, a howl resounds, cutting her off, ear splitting, guttural. It echoes so you can't be sure of the direction. Oh God, I left the door open, Rosemary pales. He'll kill me. He'll kill us, like he did all the others who learned the secret. In a second, all pieces of the puzzle slot together and reveal an image you never wanted to acknowledge. The direwolf you saw in the forest. Modesto's coming. Backs Modesto's coming. Backs just in time for the full moon. The disappearances of people who crossed his way. The murders. Blood turning cold, you grab Rosemary's hand and run. Forgoing the forest where you know the beast dwells, you take the very road that brought you to this hellish place. Up and down the moors until you reach the town, never looking back. Okay? You only break the silence to ask about Rosemary's family, to which she claims that they will be safe without her. Privately, you think she's relieved to wash her hands off that problem. The same way you arrived here, you board the first train, cobbling up just enough coins to cover the cost of two tickets. By the time the sun rises, all traces of you are gone. Oh, so I did get the best ending. But if these years have taught me anything, it is this: you can never run away, not ever. The only way out is in. Okay, so I got all the endings and I got the best ending on my first try. Hey yo, cool. I don't think there's any other secrets that can be found. I found this so intriguing. There's a lot of questions, but at the same time, all the pieces tie in together. I really hope they make some sort of sequel to this, maybe in the future. If not, I give so much kudos to the creators and the people who worked on this. I really was engaged by the story, the characters. It was longer than expected, but still very interesting. It was not also as scary as I thought it would be. It was more on the chilling side rather than the thrilling and spooky side. So that was good. Either way, I did not expect the werewolf shapeshifter thing. I mean, it was in the warnings, but I thought it was for something else. It was still great to learn all the little tidbits and puzzle pieces to the story, and it really leaves you thinking even after you finish the game. I really enjoyed this, and again, I hope they continue the story somehow. If not, great experience. I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, please take care of yourselves. If you haven't yet, please eat something. Remember to hydrate. And if you need to, remember to take your meds. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.